I myself am not a taxi driver. However, I once met a man who had a pretty messed up story. He was doing a drop-off late at night for some chap who seemed fairly shady. The destination was a park just out of town. When they arrived, the fella asked the driver to wait while he quickly met a friend. Obviously, this was shady, but the driver agreed and pulled up next to the park. Several minutes go by, and suddenly, a silhouette of a man starts running toward the car. He thought he was going to get robbed. The back door is thrown open, and two people fall onto the back seat, both scrambling at one another. It was at this moment that the driver apparently noticed the shine of a knife, shortly followed by a lot of blood. The driver started to drive off with the offender clinging onto the back door of his car. Turns out they were selling hard substances, and some altercation led to a pretty nasty fight. The driver went straight to the police station, which likely saved the boy's life. As horrendous as this event was for the dealer, I cannot help but think that the driver suffered as well. They had to take his car as evidence, and no compensation was given for the loss of earnings. Oh, and he also had to clean the blood off his car himself. He ended up selling the car for scrap. Around when I first started doing Lyft full time, I decided to try the night scene out in a town that had a bunch of bars. Around 12 a.m., I ended up getting a ride where the pickup took me 20 minutes away to a bad neighborhood. As soon as I get to the apartment complex, I call the passenger and tell them I am there because I have a bad feeling about this neighborhood, and I needed to get out of there ASAP. The passenger answers and tells me that they'll be right out, which relieves me a little bit, but I'm still on edge sitting there in my car. Lyft has a 5-minute timer you have to wait before you can no-show the passenger and leave. The timer ends up running out, but I usually wait a little longer and give another call. I call a second time, but someone else answers the phone, this time saying that they didn't even order a Lyft. I was confused, because just a few minutes ago, the guy wanted a Lyft. As I hang up, I see two guys in hoodies coming towards my car, and one of them seems to be reaching in his pocket for something. So I no-show the ride and get the fuck out of there. I made $10 off the no-show, but I was done driving nights for a while after that. It's not a coincidence that this guy calls. First of all, I don't even know how he got this man's phone. Second, why would he call an Uber? That means that this guy was not even trying to look for an Uber, maybe just trying to rob the person driving it. I was heading home after an awkward date with this guy I just met. I hopped on the metro that was going towards my house, but of course, it went on one stop, then shut down for the night. At this time, it was about 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was a few miles from my dorm still, so I started walking back. I got a couple of blocks when this taxi honked at me. I waved them off and continued my slow walk home, when they made a sudden U-turn and honked at me again. So I walked over to the cab and informed the driver that I didn't have any money on me, which was partially true. I did have some money, but not enough to pay for the fare home. He told me it was fine and told me to hop into the cab. My first mistake was sitting in the front seat. During our drive, he started questioning me, asking me if I was cold or whether I wanted something to eat or drink. I politely told him no, and that I wished just to get back to my dorm. My second mistake was when he started asking me more personal questions, like how old I was and if I had a boyfriend or not. Since this complete stranger was giving me a ride home, I figured the courteous thing to do was to hold a conversation. But when we started getting closer to my dorm, things became very uncomfortable. He started calling me babe and was becoming slightly more flirtatious. As soon as we pulled up to my dorm, he leaned over for a hug, or so I thought. So I leaned in to give him a slight side hug when he kissed me on the lips. Immediately, I pulled away, thanked him, and hopped out the car, thankful that I could see our dorm security guard from the window. But before I could leave, the taxi driver gave me his card, offering a free ride anytime I needed it. I just told him thanks, and he left. Now you might be thinking that why didn't I do something like slap him in the face or say what the hell he was doing? That's because I'm a scared little shitbag. I can't really do anything. I'm very scared around other people. I feel like they're going to do something bad to me if I say something to them, which offends them. This was very weird, and though some people might think of this as just weird, I think of it as creepy, because I think that guy was trying to do more with me. not just to kiss my lips. Only God knows, and I never want to find out.